During the Warriors game, a tense sideline exchange between Lakers coach Redick and Luka Dončić was caught on camera. Pulled from the game, a visibly agitated Dončić yanked his arm from his coach's grasp, followed by a failed high-five attempt. What followed that moment was an unforeseen explosion between Luka Dončić and Redick. It was a stunning moment in the NBA that no one anticipated. The kind of incident that makes you stop and question if what you witnessed was real. What unfolded on the evening of February 28th, 2026 at San Francisco's Chase Center was exactly that. On a night that should have been a celebratory blowout win for the Los Angeles Lakers against the Golden State Warriors, the basketball community saw something utterly unpredictable, an event still being dissected and debated to this day. The Lakers were dismantling the Warriors. This was not a nail-biter that became heated, it was a complete 129-101 rout. You'd anticipate the winning side to be full of celebration, high fives, and positive energy. Luka Dončić was having a spectacular game, putting up 26 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds. The superstar was on fire, and the Lakers were firing on all cylinders. So, any reasonable person would assume there were no issues, but that couldn't be further from the truth. With the game decided late in the fourth, Redick substituted Dončić. It was a routine substitution, but the aftermath was anything but ordinary. As Dončić made his way to the bench, Redick intercepted him, grabbing his arm with intent. He was apparently trying to correct a defensive mistake, but Luka wanted no part of it. He walked right by his coach without a glance or a pause. That action alone was enough to create a stir. A superstar ignoring his head coach on a national broadcast is a major story, but it was far from over. Redick pursued Dončić to the bench, where they engaged in a short, heated argument marked by forceful gestures from both. Their body language spoke volumes. This was no calm dialogue between two professionals, it was pure, unmistakable friction. Redick said his piece, and Dončić shot back immediately. Then, after offering a final word, Redick turned to leave, which is precisely when Luka Dončić ignited. The 6'7", 230-pound player sprang from the bench like someone who had been publicly humiliated. A furious Luka reportedly told JJ he would beat his... Just consider that statement. Those words are rare even among locker room rivals, and they are certainly not words a player directs at his own coach. According to several sources, that is exactly what Luka Dončić said as he got up to confront JJ directly. He wasn't simply airing grievances from his seat or muttering to himself. No. Luka rose with the clear purpose of getting in JJ Redick's face in the middle of a televised game. So when JJ Redick finished speaking and started to walk off, Luka reacted. His actions screamed, "You will not turn your back on me," which showed exactly where his head was. JJ made his point and tried to move on. But Luka essentially communicated, "You don't get to speak to me that way and just leave." This was more than mild irritation. This was the reaction of a man who felt deeply insulted and got up to act on his threat. And the only thing that stopped this from escalating into something far, far worse was the intervention of Jared Vanderbilt, who told him to cool down. Vanderbilt got up and clapped his hands loudly and physically inserted himself between Dončić and Redick, successfully de-escalating the conflict before it worsened. It was hailed by many as a smart, veteran move. The kind of quick thinking you see from someone who grasps the severity of a situation and knows how to prevent it from spiralling. If Vanderbilt hadn't gotten off that bench and put himself between them, the outcome is anyone's guess. You simply do not see a player leave the bench to threaten their own coach. That is the detail many overlook. This wasn't simple on-court intensity or a rush of adrenaline. With a nearly 30-point lead, a star player threatened his coach. This outburst wasn't about one mistake, it exposed a deeper problem. Tensions had been escalating, and to understand why, we have to look back. It began the day Luka Dončić became a Laker. To see how a perfect match reached a breaking point, you must go back in time. You have to return to the night that changed his entire career. The fact is, Luka Dončić never wanted this. Leaving Dallas was never his choice. He didn't orchestrate a move to Los Angeles. His fate was sealed by a decision he couldn't control, and it crushed him. On February 2nd, 2025, Dallas traded their scoring champion to Los Angeles. The massive three-team deal stunned the basketball world. Analysts labeled it the most shocking trade in the history of the sport. The league was in disbelief. Even Patrick Mahomes tweeted confusion, while Luka was reportedly devastated. His father condemned the move as unfair, and Dončić simply said he didn't know why. The man who earned 5 straight All-NBA selections for the team was cast aside. After leading them to the finals and shattering records, he was suddenly shipped out. The Mavericks GM made the call, voicing concerns about Dončić's conditioning and off-court habits. Management was hesitant to offer him the looming $345 million Supermax extension. It was a brutal business move, and Dončić was its primary casualty. Yet, through all the hurt, Luka arrived in LA ready to compete. He focused on his love for the game, saying this is what he enjoys most. Declaring his excitement for a new chapter, his words showed resolve, not resignation. He was determined to transform his disappointment into drive, with a singular focus in Los Angeles. He saw it as a new opportunity to play for the world's most storied franchise. And, at first, his partnership with coach J.J. Redick seemed destined for greatness. That's because the two men had a real positive history together. Years earlier, Redick finished his career playing 13 games alongside Dončić in Dallas. Despite Redick's career winding down, their chemistry was immediate. Redick lauded Dončić's extraordinary talent and his humble nature. Dončić, who is famously private, even appeared on Redick's podcast. He came on twice, a rare occurrence he later highlighted. That gesture showed the deep respect he held for his now coach. So when Dončić joined Redick in LA, the story felt perfectly scripted. They already had a foundation of mutual trust and understanding. That positive energy was palpable from the start of training camp. Their light-hearted jabs at one another revealed a comfortable bond. It was the kind of friendly teasing that only comes with a solid friendship. Both men were relaxed, and that feeling spread throughout the organization. Their guiding principle was to get 1% better. And for a time, it paid off, as Luka thrived and the team succeeded. Everything was on track, until the first signs of trouble appeared. J.J. Redick is a direct coach who holds every player, including his stars, to the same high standard. Redick publicly demanded better defense from Dončić, threatening his minutes in crucial moments. For a 5-time All-NBA player used to being the undisputed leader, that public criticism was hard to accept. The problems went far beyond the court. Dončić's constant engagement with referees was reportedly a source of friction, hindering the team's concentration, while his physical conditioning and dedication were openly questioned. For a player blindsided by a trade from a city he loved, who arrived in Los Angeles fueled by pure will, that criticism felt like a personal attack. Redick allegedly labelled Dončić as out of shape and unfit for a championship run in front of the team, sparking an internal firestorm over whether it was leadership or just alienation. Meanwhile, the Lakers' respectable 36-24 record did little to quiet the noise as they lingered in 6th place in the West. Observers pointed to a lack of championship spirit, a feeling that had been missing all season. So, the flashpoint against the Warriors, the arm grab by Redick, Luka's sharp reaction, the heated exchange was never about a single moment. It wasn't about one bad substitution. It was the culmination of everything. Every critique, every public reprimand, and every instance where Luka felt the coach who should have been his ally was instead making him the target. The consensus was clear. The Lakers' title hopes depended on fixing this situation. And that became the billion-dollar question. Could this be salvaged? Was there a path for these two to work together, or had the relationship already soured beyond repair, with the fallout just beginning? The footage went viral almost instantly. Within hours, fan-shot videos of the bench confrontation saturated platforms like X, Instagram, and YouTube, racking up millions of views. Everyone weighed in with an opinion, and the interpretation of the event varied wildly depending on the source. One camp viewed the incident as the final nail in the coffin for the Redick-Dončić partnership. Social media was merciless, with one ex-user stating flatly that JJ would be gone before Luka. Another confidently predicted the Lakers would be saying goodbye to JJ. One fan framed it most sharply, writing that Luka had gone from a king to a prince, a painful demotion. That last comment hit a nerve because it held a sliver of truth. In Dallas, Luka was the undeniable centerpiece. The offense was built around him. Every single play was channeled through number 77. But in LA, he now shares the stage with LeBron James. He's operating in a system that values fluid ball movement over the one-man, high-usage style that defined his stardom. For an athlete with Luka's intense competitive drive, that transition has been anything but smooth. Yet, on the other side, many believed the entire affair was overblown. Analyst Charlie Villanueva conceded the visuals were terrible, calling Dončić's outburst a bad look and advising him to be more aware of the cameras. But even he stopped short of declaring the relationship broken. He attributed the blow-up to Luka's passionate personality rather than any fundamental animosity between the two. Then, Rich Paul, the influential CEO of Clutch Sports, weighed in. And his take was entirely different. Paul framed the arguments as productive. He claimed they create a healthy environment for winning, adding that the display of care, passion, and competitiveness is a positive sign. From Paul's vantage point, this wasn't mutual disdain. It was two individuals so consumed with winning that their emotions occasionally spilled over. In the pressure cooker of professional sports, that kind of fire, if harnessed correctly, can be an asset. But this is where the story takes a fascinating turn. Lost in the viral clips and the social media frenzy was what JJ Redick did after that game, something most people seem to have overlooked. He complimented Luka, not with hollow, politically correct words, but with genuine, specific praise. During the post-game press conference, a reporter asked about Dončić's game, and Redick answered without hesitation. He mentioned that Coach K often used the word daring. There's a daring quality to his game. Daring. That's not a term you use for a player you've lost faith in. It's not a word for someone you can no longer coach. It's a word reserved for a talent that leaves you in awe, one of the many things that makes him such a special player. Special, daring. On the same night, Luka Dončić threatened to confront him. These were the words his coach, JJ Redick, chose to describe his star. The viral sideline argument wasn't a coach giving up, but pushing a superstar to be even better. With Wright confirming Dončić is still a terrific and beloved teammate, the team's foundation remains solid. While such friction has historically forged champions, the team's razor-thin margin for error makes this a high-stakes gamble. Now, the entire league is watching to see if this tension will build a title contender or shatter their playoff hopes entirely. Our team is full of good guys, and he's one of them. His teammates genuinely love him. That's crucial, because a locker room turning on him would be a catastrophe. But that simply isn't what's happening. He's called a terrific teammate, a player whose success is easy to celebrate. Coming from JJ Redick on that particular night, those words carry immense significance. It tells you that despite the sideline explosion that went viral, the bond between them isn't broken. At least not yet. There's also historical evidence suggesting this kind of friction can actually pave the way for greatness. Parallels have been drawn to the dynamics between Steve Kerr and Draymond Green, or Phil Jackson and Kobe Bryant. NBA history is filled with stories of coaches and superstars who clashed intensely. They argued, they challenged each other to the limit, and then they went on to win championships as a unit. However, that formula only succeeds when both men are willing to find common ground. In August 2025, Dončić inked a 3-year extension for $165 million. He is firmly established as the future of the franchise and isn't leaving. Even as the pressure mounted, some argued the entire incident was blown out of proportion. They painted it as a brief clash between two fierce competitors, not a sign of true animosity. Yet the Lakers hold a precarious 6th seed in the Western Conference at 36-24. With the postseason fast approaching, injuries have prevented the team from playing at full strength. Issues of ball sharing between Dončić and LeBron James persist, and the defense ranks a dismal 25th. The margin for mistakes is non-existent. In that kind of volatile atmosphere, lingering friction between a star player and his coach could be fatal. Here's the difficult reality. Luka has to accept his role and execute what his coach demands. It doesn't matter how gifted you are or how many points you put up, Regardless of your all-NBA selections, there must be a foundation of respect for the person designing the strategy. Right now, the entire league is watching to see if Luka Dončić and JJ Redick can restore that bond. Or if this situation is on a crash course that will damage them both. One thing is certain, the next time they share a sideline, every camera in the arena will be focused squarely on them, because with the Lakers, the show never ends. And this particular drama is a long way from its conclusion. If you like this video, feel free to click any of the suggestions on your screen.